Well, a good day to you, my friends. Thank you for joining me on this episode of How I Pay for My Gold. And we are back on some Hurricane Ida repairs from over a year ago now. And the reason I'm showing this is because it's kind of a tough situation here. We've got this is a shed that's vinyl wrapped, but it busted out the corner pieces on most of these from the storm. And if you want to go back and change these corner pieces, you basically have to strip down all of this stuff to be able to get to it. Here's one of the broken ones that came in, but you can see it's got the attachments on both sides that sit. The vinyl sits and tucks in behind, so there's no way to reach in and screw these things in. So this one I'm already. As you can see, I've got this side stripped down because there was a lot of damage on this. And what I'm doing is actually pulling all the stuff off the back side of the shed because they don't make this size vinyl anymore. And I've already patched the front of it here. You can see there were a couple of holes in these. And now what I'm doing is this one here, of course, both sides of this are not damaged. So this is one that I need to strip off, but I don't want to have to remove all of the vinyl up and down. So an old vinyl trick that we use is what you want to do is you go through and you cut all the way down this edge with your knife. Make sure you score all the way through there. You want to be careful not to cut yourself or cut into the other vinyl. But you see there, once you've got this cut away, and then what we're going to do is take our new piece, and I'm going to, once I cut this away, I'll go through and cut where I have just basically leaving a J trim on this. And then what we do is go through and cut this piece out until we just leave this little U right here. And we're going to take it then and pop this stuff back on without having to tear all this out. And that's the ticket for working on this one. I believe we're going to have to go with. So that's what I'm doing right now. I've got it cut open, pulled away on one side. I'm going to do the other, then come back and trim along this extra out, so we just have the lip here to put our new piece back on. So we'll see how that works out for us. And just to show you a little more detail of what I'm doing here now, see, that's how it normally looks. And you can see my pencil line right here. That right there is where my cut goes all the way down. This side I've already cut, so you see I've got basically a U channel now, and that is what is going to slide around my old piece that I cut off that's still attached to the wall to hold this in place. So basically you want to just take your knife, and this is, of course, you want to have a nice new blade on there, and just very easily score it down a couple of times. Usually it's this stuff on the curve there. It pretty well follows right along where the channel is, and you just run it all the way down like that until you have, flex it around there once you score it, until you have that piece out, and we'll be back to see it go in. And then there we have our piece installed, and it is, you can see that is not going to move. That just clipped right on over our old piece, and it saved having to tear out all of that siding on both sides to be able to anchor that new corner in, and that sucker is not coming off. So there you go. There's a quick fix for you if you've ever got to deal with your vinyl. You can work around some of that stuff that's very time consuming to replace if you know the tricks. All right, and just to show the rest of this is the back side of the shed, and like I said, these are three piece bits of siding here rather than the two line pieces that they have available now. So that's what I'm doing with this. I'm pulling off the stuff in the back that I used to replace in the front, and on the side here where it had gotten broken up and destroyed. And again, here, these corners, since I'm stripping them down, I can just replace the whole corner easily and not have to worry about it. But this is what I would have to do on that other side if I had not been able to, like I said, use a little trick to get that on there without having to disassemble it like this off the edge to get to it, to tuck it in, because you can see once it's behind there, you can't get to it. So, and that's it. And then the other necessity you need when you're doing this is your vinyl tool with that little hook. You take it, you put it in underneath, you pop it free. It breaks it free without cracking it. Goes over in the pile to be used on the next one. And you can see these are nailed. These things have slats, and there's a thing when you're dealing with this stuff, it's called a linear coefficient. This stuff, the reason these are slotted like this, and these nails, you can see they're a 1/4 inch out from being nailed tight, because this vinyl the linear coefficient on this thing tends to be what they would consider about 1/2 inch. You need a 1/4 inch short on each end, because this stuff expands and contracts almost a full, a 1/3 to 1/2 of an inch, depending on the material and where it's facing in the sun or the weather. In the wintertime, when it gets cold, this stuff will contract. Whenever it's summertime, it'll expand. And so yeah, you always want to make sure your nails don't have it nailed tight against the wall where it does not have room to, because once it does that, then you start getting it where it'll buckle and it'll bulge, because it's actually compressing on itself, because it does not have room for that variation on the and I know firsthand, because I had done a paint job where they wanted the vinyl painted. I had to get special vinyl paint and did it, and whenever winter came and I went by and looked at it, and I could see all these white, because there was a lot of them that were longer walls than 12 foot, so you had to have multiple pieces stretching out. And where those pieces came together, there would be literally a 1/4 inch or better gap where it had stretched past where the paint point was, so you had the original white siding showing. So yeah, it is a very, it's not just allow for shrinkage or whatever, or expansion. It does expand quite a bit. So that's a key thing when you're doing vinyl, is not to have it restricted, that it doesn't have that play for the linear coefficient expansion on it. So that's it. Just throw that in, and I'm going to finish stripping this down, put in my new corners, use this stuff on the side, and then I'll go buy all new stuff. That's the two piece, two board looking vinyl that'll replace all the back here, so at least it'll all be uniform. So on this corner is a little different, because I am not taking out all of this side here. So this is going to be one where I'm going to actually just cut the one side here and then pull it off, and then I'll mount this side on normal. This side I'll have my piece where it can click in and not have to strip out all this stuff on the side. So we should end up with a nice corner. So again, you just don't want to have to pry out and break away all that stuff on the edge to get that corner piece in, because it makes a mess out of it. So, all right, that's it. So again, you just want to take it slow and get a steady cut. You don't want to jump off your edge. You just want to leave that little bit right there to cut off. And you go all the way down. And there we have it. We broke it free. Now I can pop this side off completely here. Wind took out the camera. It's all right. We saw what we needed to. And once again, there we have it installed. Again, none of this had to be torn off. It's locked in there. You can see it pulling the stuff as far as it's hooked in there good. And then our other side here is nailed on just like normal. And I'll bring my other pieces in on that. So, but yeah, that is really a good trick if you've got to, like I said, if you got some bad corners you got to change out and you do not want to strip down all of your vinyl to do it. Well, as luck would have it, I was able to track down exactly 9 pieces of this original style vinyl, which was just what I needed to do this job. So with new corners all the way around and a new looking shed, customer was happy. I'm able to buy some more gold. Thanks for watching.